And I think most people associate the name Ringling just with the circus. But I think we're going to find out today there's a lot more that goes into that name.
Well, we're here today in this beautiful 66-acre Ringling estate. There's so much to see. We're going to meet up with Stephen High. He's going to show us everything there is to do here, and I can't wait. Let's go meet up with Stephen. So Stephen, this is absolutely gorgeous. We're here, what, in the courtyard?
Yes, courtyard of the John and Mabel Ringling Museum of Art.
Well, tell us a little bit about this.
This museum is one of many museums we have on our campus, but this is the original. This is why we exist. John Ringling in 1925 decided he wanted to leave a legacy. He was a major circus impresario. He was one of the wealthiest men in the United States at that time. So he started buying art in Europe and starting building a collection. And then he started building a museum. And by 1930, he had one of the major European collections in the United States. And he had this beautiful building here with David framing everything. And then since that time, really in the 2000s, we've really grown dramatically. We have just about 400,000 square feet of buildings on campus and over 200,000 square feet of gallery space. So we're the largest museum really in the Southeast and cover everything from circus history to European painting to contemporary art.
I'm actually surprised. Now, there's an art museum, the museum, there's so much more here. It's not just, I thought we were gonna go see a circus exhibit. This is amazing.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic museum, and the collection here is remarkable. We have the oldest circus museum in the United States. So there's so much going on here on campus that somebody is going to find something that they find of interest.
I think you said this sits on 66 acres here.
66
this
acres.
Is not a small piece of property.
Yeah, yes.
Well, I'd love to go see some more of it. Would
Sure.
you take us around?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
We're standing right now in front of what I think is one of the most striking architectural examples in Florida and I'd say across the country. This is our Ting, Tsung, and Fong Center for Asian Art. And this is really the signature piece. And it's composed of terracotta tiles. The texture changes, the color changes throughout the day. So this is two glazes, a gold glaze and a green glaze on top, which gives it its kind of iridescent color.
Stephen, the architecture of this building is certainly impressive, but it's very different from what we've seen across the estate.
Yes, intentionally, because we are a museum, a contemporary museum, as well as a historic museum, and we want our buildings and our collections to be the work of our time. So we're standing now in the Ting, Tsung, Fong Center for Asian Art, and this is the Chow Gallery. And this is a more traditional representation of art from the history of Asia from 2500 BC up until really about 19th century. Our main gallery out front here really talks about all the influences that occurred from Greece through to China and Japan and the trades, the maritime trades. And so that tells a much more nuanced story. This one talks more about the specific objects and the time frame in which they're in.
So Stephen, this feels a bit more contemporary from the Chow Gallery where we just left.
Yes, it's kind of a contemporary gallery, although what we're showing here right now is Japanese design and paintings from the 30s. This particular show is featuring an interesting ballroom that was in Tokyo. It was called Ballroom Florida. It's this beautiful Art Deco, and then you have the modern Japanese woman in these different paintings here. This was John Ringling's home, And he was only down here a few months of the year because he lived in New York City and in New Jersey, had homes there as well. But this was their place where they would have lots of parties and gatherings. When John was here, he owned everything you can see and was in the process of developing it when he eventually died.
So Steve, this is like the summer house?
The summer house,
Okay.
yeah.
Just a
quaint-
Well, the
a
winter
quaint
house
getaway,
in Florida,
snowbird.
but
The
it
36,000
does the
square
same
foot.
thing. Yes, yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a gorgeous building.
This is a little more along the lines of what I was associating with visiting the Ringling Museum.
Yes, and the funny thing is that John Ringling would have never built this. He was focusing on arts and culture and his legacy. This museum is the result of our first director, Chick Austin, who saw the opportunity of really building this collection of the circus and the importance of the circus to American culture. And we're standing next to one of our biggest objects in our collection, and that's the Wisconsin rail car, where John would travel. He was the front man for the circus, so he would be in the front and he would tie this onto a train and they would cruise along. It came to Sarasota twice. It was the most exotic form of transportation. This is like a reception area where people would gather, and then in the middle there is really a kind of an office dining area. These are original wagons. We have a collection. These are sort of show wagons. When they would come into town, they would do a parade to attract people and get people into the circus.
Kat, you're right. This is kind of what I expected when you think about Ringling, Barnum and
Yeah.
Bailey. This is the circus part, but there's so much more here that I had no idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, absolutely. I always love talking about this place, as you've probably gathered. There's lots of stories to tell.